everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, back again with another big news update. First of all, the biggest news we're going to talk about is an Indy dream match that has been booked for February 2019, and that is no exaggeration either to call it an Indy dream match. It certainly is one. Elsewhere, we're going to talk as well about how a major independent star is about to sign with WWE, and finally we're also going to talk a little bit about what happened last night at Fear and Loathing 11, ICW's big WrestleMania-esque biggest show of the year spectacular, including a couple of title changes. Let's crack into it and let's take a look at all of the news. First of all, let's talk about that Indy dream match that has been signed for February 2019. It's going to take place on February 15th in York Hall, London, at RevPro's High Stakes event. Again, High Stakes is an annual event that RevPro do, and next year's looks to be bigger than ever because they have announced Will Ospreay versus Pac, formerly known, of course, as WWE superstar Neville. Now, why is this a big match? Well, first and foremost, obviously Ospreay's had a killer year over in New Japan and on various independent shows around the world. Secondly, Neville, or Pac as we should now call him, has only just started competing again in the past month or so, having been released from WWE, or I guess been granted his release from WWE. Nobody's still entirely clear on what happened there between Neville, Pac and the WWE, but it seems as though relations soured at some point, maybe around the time he dropped the Cruiserweight title to Enzo Amore, because Neville certainly was a standout of the 205 Live brand, and then overnight it seemed he was just off television. From pretty much the moment that it was announced that Pac was back on the independent scene, Ospreay issued a challenge on Twitter simply saying, "Give me Pac," and it looks as though that wish has been granted by RevPro once again. That's on February 15th at York Hall in London. This is such a huge match, particularly because of the styles of both men. They are a great matchup for one another stylistically, and yes, over in New Japan, Ospreay started to try and bulk up and to compete more with the heavyweights rather than simply the junior division. That kind of got derailed a little bit by his recent injury, which he's currently taking time off to recuperate from, but at the same time, Neville and Ospreay, two of the best high flyers in the world, two of the most famous high flyers in the world as well. It should be an insane match for all intents and purposes. It should be one of those matches that people go into it expecting sort of a 4.5 to 5 star classic straight off the bat. It would be untrue to say that this is Pac's first appearance since leaving WWE. He's appeared over in Dragon Gate, where I guess that was the promotion that really helped him make his name before he signed with WWE over in Japan. Also, he's wrestled a handful of dates in the UK, sort of one-off dates for various independent promotions, but this, in my opinion, is the biggest match that has been announced for Pac since he was released from WWE. This becomes even more important when we put it in the context of WWE tightening their exclusivity regarding the deals of certain top-level UK indie guys around the country. That means that we're not going to see as much of, certain names that we're used to seeing top the bill at promotion after promotion in the UK, and that means that this match between two guys who aren't signed with WWE at all becomes almost even, you could say, like a symbol for the other side of things, proving that the UK scene can still thrive and impress even when it's not limited to those guys already signed with WWE. There's still talent out there who can put on a fantastic card without being signed. Secondly, according to Figure 4 Online, which is the sort of affiliate site for the Wrestling Observer radio and newsletter, Jonah Rock, an Australian independent wrestler, is about to sign with WWE. This is big news, especially considering that WWE are hoovering up guys left, right and centre, it seems, these days. Most recently, Volta has been signed to a deal with WWE, and it's rumoured that he is going to be part of not only part of the NXT UK brand, but a key figurehead should NXT decide to expand further into Europe, being of course from Austria, Volta is, and he is one of the biggest, most important wrestling figures to ever come out of Germany. So I'm not saying that Austria is part of Germany, I know that they're separate countries, but he's from Austria, made his name in Germany, now he's with WWE. You see what I'm doing. But yes, Jonah Rock looks set to sign with WWE. Just to give a bit of background if you're unfamiliar with Jonah Rock, he's kind of one of those guys like Jeff Cobb who is a stocky powerhouse, but at the same time is agile and nimble, a sort of nimbleness that really shouldn't work for a man of his size, but does. He's a bit of a freak. Also, very good at just playing a bit of a dastardly heel. He appeared in PWG quite a lot recently. He took part in the most recent Battle of LA tournament, and he's one of those few figures in PWG who got booed because PWG is full of flippy indie guys and guys that everyone loves, whether they're babyface or heel. Jonah Rock came in there and really dedicated himself to getting booed occasionally. It was kind of cool. At the same time, he never quite won the PWG Championship, even though he seemed to be in line for it. But he does hold a host of accolades from his home nation of Australia in various promotions over there. He is someone who I'm very excited to see in WWE, given the fact that not only is he excellent in the ring, but also the fact that compared to some of the guys WWE have been signing recently, he is comparatively young. I believe he is 30 years old, if not somewhere in his early 30s. He's still got quite a long way to go in his wrestling career, so it'll be very interesting to see what WWE do with him. And finally, let's talk a little bit about what happened at ICW Fear and Loathing 11, which took place last night in Glasgow, Scotland. It's ICW's big WrestleMania-esque annual show, the biggest night of their year, and therefore one of the biggest wrestling shows annually in the UK, because ICW are one of the biggest promotions in the UK. It all kind of makes sense, doesn't it? This was a big card with many storylines coming to a head that had been built up to for months and months and months beforehand. And also, this is a spoiler alert, so if you don't want to know, just shh. But there were two big title changes. First of all, Kaylee Ray beat her old rival Viper in what was reportedly, I've not managed to watch it myself yet, but what was reportedly a brutal hardcore match for the Women's Championship, and now Kaylee Ray is the new Women's Champion. The pair of them really impressed and were two of the few wrestlers, I guess, that had their profile greatly elevated by the ITV World of Sport Wrestling show that aired over the past sort of few months, because they took part in a really good three-way match with Bea Priestley, one of the best matches of the entire series. I believe it main evented one of the episodes of World of Sport Wrestling and was really, really good. Obviously, Viper and Kaylee Ray know each other inside out, so I have no doubt that when I watch this match, I'm going to be very impressed indeed. The other title change that took place came in the main event of the night, where Justice Jackie Polo lost his ICW Heavyweight Championship to his old rival, Lionheart. Lionheart is one of those guys that can be regarded as an ICW original. He's been with the promotion through thick and thin. He was there in the early days before they were particularly big. He's there now and is the ICW Heavyweight Champion. He's one of the most storied guys in ICW's history. He sustained a pretty infamous neck injury taking a Styles Clash from AJ Styles, where he made that mistake of tucking his neck when you're not supposed to tuck your neck. But the story with Lionheart is really his bravery and his dedication in fighting back into ring shape, not giving up on his wrestling career. And as Daniel Bryan taught us, if you fight for your dreams will fight for you. And now look at Lionheart, the big babyface champion of ICW. Credit as well to Jackie Polo, who for his, I guess, relatively brief title reign, although it wasn't that brief, but he was one of the best character guys in UK wrestling. He adopted sort of a southern drawl, he kept wearing cowboy hats and bolo ties, and he portrayed himself as someone who truly sold out. He thought he was Jeff Jarrett. He came in, would speak in an American accent, which got massive heat from the Scottish crowd, and then just before this match, he dropped that act briefly, went back to his old Jackie Polo Glaswegian accent, and it really helped spark the rivalry once again ahead of Fear and Loathing. And now that the match has taken place, he's done the good heel thing. He's lost the title at the biggest show of the calendar, and now Lionheart's got that big babyface victory. Sensible booking from ICW. We love a bit of that, and I can't wait to watch it. So that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching this quick little news update. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to at Jack the Jobber. You can follow all of us at Cultaholic, and check out our Patreon page as well, patreon.com/Cultaholic. And never forget, of course, if you haven't done so already, to hit subscribe and to join us.